How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the Horseshoe Huddle Film Breakdown Series, a new series we're bringing to the YouTube channel to break down some key moments from the preseason games. That's what we're doing right now. And then obviously once we get to the regular season, we'll talk about some key moments there. Obviously, the talk of the town is young quarterback Anthony Richardson. So a majority of this series is going to be what Anthony Richardson's been doing in these preseason games, what he's doing in the regular season, and all that. I'm your host, Zach Hicks, the lead analyst for HorseshoeHuddle.com through Fan Nation. Today we're going to talk about his big interception on, I think it was his third overall pass of his NFL career. Obviously, it's the preseason, so not as big a deal as what it would be if it were in the regular season. But yeah, we're going to start a little bit on the negative side and talk about this interception. We're going to talk about why it happened, what happened on the play overall, what went wrong, and how this young quarterback can bounce back from this. Now, I do want to preface, we're not going to be overly negative on this channel here. We're not only going to look at his interceptions, but this was a key moment in this young quarterback's first game, so we definitely want to go into this play and talk about exactly what happened. So to start off, we're going to start from this angle here so we can just look at the offensive line, what the offensive line's doing, look at everything that's going on behind the play, and then we'll rip it out, look at that sideline view, and really go into what really broke down on the play. But starting this play off, this is going to be an RPO design by the Indianapolis Colts. Now, if you guys don't know what an RPO is, or I know you guys have probably heard the term RPO thrown around so much in the last 5 to 10 years. It's something that guys like Chris Collinsworth and a lot of people who call NFL games just love to throw out there for every single run fake. To really dive into what an RPO is, there's a common misconception that an RPO is a run and a pass option, that they're both equal. You could pass, you could run. What it really is, it's a run play. Everything about it is a run play, but there is the ability to pull it out and throw the ball if there's a positive look there. So how that's different from a play action play is the whole offensive line, which we're highlighting right here to start. The whole offensive line is run blocking. They're going to be treating this entire play here like it is a run. They're going to be doing the combo blocks up front, which I have these guys highlighted here because that's what they're doing. They're going to be doing those combo blocks. You have Will Fries and Ryan Kelly right here on this side. They're going to combo block right here, and then Fries is going to climb to that linebacker at the second level, and then the same thing on the back side. You're going to have Quentin Nelson and Bernard Ryman sealing off that backside, and then you're going to get some climb if that linebacker were to come around here. So if 50 were to loop back inside, then Quentin Nelson would climb up. But if you look at this offensive line, they are all run blocking. This is all a run block, and this is how you know it's an RPO compared to a play-action pass, because if it were a play-action pass, these guys would be getting back in pass sets. Maybe they would fire off just to sell the play action, but they wouldn't be climbing to the second level like Will Fries does here, getting to that linebacker. When you see that, that's why all these linebackers are crashing down. This is why they're attacking more than what they would on a typical play action, because their reads and keys, everything they're reading, this linebacker is looking at Quentin Nelson. He's reading those first couple steps. They're looking down at the offensive line. They're reading exactly what's happening. And their keys are that this is a run play, because it is. RPOs are run plays. They just have the option of turning into pass plays. So what happens here is the Colts do adjust to the pass. Anthony Richardson pulls it out. And then when we whip it out to the wide view, we're going to see exactly why all this timing was thrown off here. One thing I did want to mention that was kind of interesting is all of these linemen here, even Kylan Granson off the edge, this is all run blocking across the board. All of these guys here. Now, rookie right tackle who's filling in for Braden Smith, I think this is like his fourth or fifth play of the game. He actually goes more into pass blocking here. I don't know if that was because of a protection call or if that was because he's reading the hot guy off the edge. But yeah, if we're typically doing a run design here, you want to have Blake Freeland come down and wash out this defensive end. That defensive end's crashing in. You either want him to wash that out there, or you want to have that communication with Will Fries to where hey, don't combo block inside, pick up this guy and I'll pick up the edge guy. So a little bit of a miscommunication, but overall it's still, if everything was done right on the receiver end and at the quarterback end, this type of protection would have been fine for this RPO pass. It's not perfect. Obviously, the quarterback is getting hit on the play, but typically in an RPO play, everything has to be so quick, getting out of the quarterback's hands, getting to that wide receiver where you're really just trying to make that first initial contact if the play ends up being the pass. So this is perfectly fine from the offensive line. Again, Would have liked something about this pressure right here, but maybe Blake Freeland saw this guy coming off the end, figured Richardson was going to pass, so he jumped out there just to get a hand on that guy to give the passing window. I'm not really saying anything too terrible about the offensive line here. Again, a little bit of pressure, quarterback gets hit, but that's the nature of an RPO play. Your quarterback's going to get hit a little bit because the whole offensive line is blocking for the run. They're going to be climbing to that second level. That quarterback has to get that ball out in 1 second, 2 second, whatever it is. It cannot be held very long, which we saw with Anthony Richardson there. Once that hitch comes, the play's over. Like right here, that's when you eat the play. It's over. And we'll talk about that when we go more to the wider angle. But once that hitch happens, you just can't play hero ball. You can't try to force it. And this is where the whole mistake is right here. He's trying to still get it to that target despite the entire play being dead right there. What I think Richardson would do if he could have this play back, and if we could obviously start this play over from scratch, is he would hitch right here like he did, because again it was miscommunication, and then just eat it and try to fall forward or throw it away or something like that. I mean, it was just a dead play from the start, and we're going to go into that here in just a second from the wider view. But that's what I wanted to show kind of behind the line, why the offensive line allowed this free rusher. It was, basically an all-out blitz. The corner's coming down, all these linebackers are crashing down. There's going to be pressure on this play, and it is an RPO where the quarterback's pulling it, so he's going to get hit. It's exactly what happens on these types of plays. And the young quarterback makes a mistake, which we're going to go into a little bit here on the wider view. Let's now get into that wider view, though, and talk about exactly what happened. So the key thing we're reading here is slot receiver Isaiah McKenzie and slot corner. I don't think this is Taron Johnson here for the Bills. I can't remember who they put in here to fill in, but it's the slot corner for the Bills. He's lined up across from McKenzie. And McKenzie, being a veteran wide receiver, correctly points out that this blitz is coming. He's seeing the eyes of the corner inside. He's seeing that corner start to lean that way. So Richardson is trusting his veteran wide receiver, being like, hey, this blitz is coming. I'm hot. So basically when a wide receiver is hot is when that ball is going to come out quickly, it's going to come out to that wide receiver. So on plays like this where you have that pass option, if the defense is just gearing up for the run and they're run blitzing, bringing that corner, bringing these linebackers, bringing everyone in to fill against the run, you want to pull that ball out and hit the wide receiver behind the blitz to get positive yards where there typically wasn't going to be positive yards in the jumbled mess that is up front. So Richardson makes the correct read of pulling this pass out. Isaiah McKenzie's the one who calls it out to him. And from this point on, the communication becomes terrible. So initial communication good. Again, wide receiver pointing out the blitz. Anthony Richardson understanding that that's where he needs to throw it. He needs to throw it behind the blitz to his wide receiver that is going to be out there. And that is exactly where the play should have been a success. Now, where the play falls apart is in the route that Isaiah McKenzie runs. So what we have on the backside here, I think this is the play side, 2x2 sets. So we can call that whatever. This is where the run fake is going to be. So Richardson does have to flip his hips to throw it that way. So he does kind of have to get a little bit backside. But on this backside here, we have Alec Pierce running a hook route. He's going to get a little past the first down marker. He's going to drive this corner right here off the ball, just pull him back a little bit to open up this flat route to Isaiah McKenzie. Now, again, I don't know the Colts playbook. It could have gone a certain amount of ways here. This could have been a bubble. This could have been a flat. All I know is the depth that Isaiah McKenzie runs this, where he gets up to around the 25, 26-yard line before breaking out, is not where he needed to be on this play. And it's why wide receiver coach Reggie Wayne pulled him aside after the play and kind of laid into him a little bit. Now, we're going to play it just a little slow here. Again, I have everything on pretty slow so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But when this corner's coming into blitz, Isaiah McKenzie needs to flatten this route. Like, this needs to be at the line of scrimmage, flat right here, right behind Alec Pierce. It needs to be basically where Pierce is right here is where the ball should be caught. This needs to be as flat as possible to give Richardson that quick throwing option when he's coming out of the run, because look at all these guys coming. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All these guys are crashing in. They're crashing in for the run game. And the second they realize the running back doesn't have the ball, they're going to go after the quarterback. They're going to hit the quarterback. So all these guys coming in, they're coming right for your quarterback. This needs to be as flat and as quick as possible. Head needs to be around, flat as possible, get that ball out. And if you get 3-4 yards on the play, that's a major win because the defense is attacking you in the run game. You're just still trying to create positive yards regardless. So Isaiah McKenzie just runs this way too deep. We're going to show right here. He gets right up to where that crashing down safety is, and now the safety's all over this. Richardson can't throw this because the timing's off, and we'll go back to kind of where Richardson was pulling it. If we see the first hitch, which we saw from the other angle with Anthony Richardson, he's hitching right when he's coming out of that fake, right here. McKenzie's not looking for the ball. He's still getting into his break. Now, if he runs this route like he's supposed to and keeping flat down that line, this ball is out before this corner that was blitzing even has a chance to jump up and get it. He's able to change that arm angle and throw it along the side there. And then you get a productive little gain because Pierce is able to take that corner out with a blocker or just getting his body in the way. Safety would probably crash down and drive him out of bounds. Excuse me there. But yeah, that's what would typically happen on this type of play. But instead, McKenzie runs up. He gets way too much depth. Safety's able to eat it up. And then you get the young quarterback panicking. Now, this is where the young quarterback makes the mistake of thinking this is still college football or thinking this is still high school football. Because right here, like I said from the other angle, you have to eat this. Like right here, this is a no-win situation. Guy in your face, wide receiver still not looking. Outside corner is starting to drive down on that now because you're looking out that way. Safety's driving down on it. There is no win in this example outside of maybe throwing this ball away, which is risky in itself because you're not set. You're not going to get your body through the throwing motion. You're not going to be able to get it where you need to be if you still try to complete this pass. So even if he leads this guy perfectly, that outside corner is already crashing down because he's playing the sticks. He's already crashing down. He's already going to get out there and pick it off, even if this is a perfectly thrown ball. So this needs to be an eat it type of play. This needs to be get your head down, fall forward. Maybe, it's 2nd and 10 after this because you fall into this guy and then fall forward to like 22, 23 yard line. That's a perfectly acceptable result for a broken play. Don't exasperate the broken play by turning a bad gain into a major negative one by forcing a pass and forcing an interception. That's what happens here. He goes into hero mode. He tries to throw off his back foot, falling backwards, 2 guys in his face, and the ball sails like it does when you don't set your feet. Goes way over the receiver's head, right to the outside corner who was crashing down, and it ends up being a pretty bad pick early in the game. So my biggest takeaway with this play here is really not that Anthony Richardson just threw such an inaccurate pass and it was a horrible thing and oh my gosh, he's never going to make it work. But the biggest thing I took out of this play is you got a young quarterback who's dealing with a very, very quick timing play. Like this ball needs to be out right here. Ball's out. Ball needs to be out. But a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver that he was trusting on that route, had a miscommunication, and it caused this young quarterback to not complete the timing play, the timing plays that they were doing this entire first half. So when he's not able to do that, he panics. He's a young quarterback. He's like, oh gosh, I made a mistake, or someone made a mistake on one of my first couple plays, and he just gets too much into hero mode. He gets too much in his head. He's trying to throw it off his back foot and still make the play work because you're kind of in that soft spot of his young development where the play needs to work how it's called no matter what, even if there's miscommunication. So he's forcing things. He's still forcing it. It's a very rigid mistake trying to play hero ball, if that makes sense. So he ends up throwing it over McKenzie's head, right for the interception. I don't think this is a horrible thing that's going to repeat itself over and over. There will certainly be times like this because you kind of have to tame the gunslinger a little bit. You have to kind of bring him back down to playing within structure and not make these type of mistakes. But, we saw it with Andrew Luck a lot. Andrew Luck would always make these kinds of mistakes as well back in his whole career with the Colts, always forcing it when it wasn't there. And that's how he got 10 plus interceptions most years in his career. So not a back-breaking interception in a preseason game whatsoever. It's probably good that he was able to see this early in his career, see that miscommunications happen, and you just can't play hero ball after that. Then he was able to bounce back big the rest of the game. So overall, I'm not too upset about this pick. It's a good learning experience for him, and I'm happy it happened in a preseason game rather than in a regular season game. But that's all we have for today's film breakdown here at horseshoehuddle.com. Make sure you guys are following me at Zach Hicks 2 on Twitter or X or whatever the heck it's called. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to the Horseshoe Huddle YouTube channel where this video is being posted. I'm also the co-host over at Locked On Colts. You guys can check that out on all audio platforms and also on YouTube as well. So go Colts, and we'll be back to break down some positive plays from Anthony Richardson in the next couple days.